It's September 8th. This is our very, very first show, and you are my very first audience.
Ellen DeGeneres is known as one of the nicest celebrities, as she is seemingly always smiling and having a good time. However, there have been a couple of times that current or potential guests have gone too far or broken the rules, causing Ellen to kick them off. Let's look at 5 times Ellen kicked someone, maybe even an audience member, from the show.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
Number 5. Wendy Williams. The host of The Wendy Williams Show, Wendy, has had an uber-successful career, quite similar to Ellen's. Wendy and Ellen, however, have had an interesting relationship, with some serious lows. Eventually, it got so bad that Ellen DeGeneres decided she could no longer have Wendy Williams on her talk show. Let's look through what led to this, as well as their friendship before things turned sour.
Equation.
Oh, well.
That's in a good way.
I don't mind that.
He's cute.
He's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Ellen has been running her talk show for a really long time, since 2003 in fact. Oh, how times have changed. Wendy Williams is a bit newer talk show host, as The Wendy Williams Show has run since 2008. Still, both are experienced and understand the game. Wendy acknowledged this on Ellen's show, calling her an OG. In 2016, Wendy would appear on the Ellen DeGeneres Show for the very first time. It was clear the two didn't get along. The encounter felt forced, full of passive-aggressive remarks, mostly by Wendy. She would appear again in 2018 for a more thorough appearance on Ellen's show. Rather than turning out better than the first, it turned out drastically worse. For context, Ellen has been quite good friends with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian for some time. She mentions how much she loves them and is constantly supporting them. Both have appeared several times on her show. That's what makes Wendy's rant so odd, as she begins calling out Kim Kardashian's marriage to Kanye. She knew what she was about to say would set Ellen off. Saying it felt weird to say in Ellen's home, so to speak. Wendy claimed that Kim would be a single mother, also dragging Kanye along with a myriad of insults. Kanye West was on tour in Europe, but still, she called Kanye out for not being with Kim during her pregnancy. Ellen, throughout the rant, remained polite but also tried to defend Kim and Kanye. During the interview, Ellen continued to mention how Wendy likes to say whatever she wants with little regard for others. Since that interview, Wendy has also called Ellen out after she beat her for a talk show award. Overall, it boils down to Wendy being a loose cannon, at any moment willing to say some bizarre, outlandish comment. Ellen tries to push positivity. It's clear the two are very different, so maybe it's best that Ellen decided to stop having Wendy on her show. You won't believe how rude this person was to Ellen. Number 4. Piers Morgan. Speaking of loudmouth, Piers Morgan. The news personality, Morgan, has always been loud and abrupt. While it has worked in his favor in some situations, arguments for example, it certainly hasn't in other fields. One of which is his random insults hurled at people he isn't even acquainted with. Such an attack fell upon Ellen. Piers Morgan attacked her for drooling over men's bodies, which doesn't make any sense, considering Ellen is happily married to another woman, Portia de Rossi. There was a good bit of backlash after the attacks from Piers Morgan. The good thing about being a beloved TV talk show host is you have a lot of fans that will come to your aid. They certainly did. Why Piers Morgan decided to attack her is unclear. The two were not familiar with one another, yet he still attacked her out of the blue. The allegations about drooling over men's bodies were insulting, random, and unneeded. Luckily, Ellen DeGeneres had the character not to attack him back. Rather, she said nothing. No response ever came from Ellen or her team. Piers Morgan likely would have never appeared on the DeGeneres show anyways, as his job and personality isn't something that necessarily appeals towards the show. After the remarks, we can be confident that Piers Morgan will not be making an appearance on Ellen's show. Number 3. Donald Trump. To the surprise of some, Ellen actually has quite a few political figures on her show, from both parties. She seems to be willing to film an episode with any politician. However, she has been adamant about not having Donald Trump on her show. It has nothing to do with a vendetta or political affiliation. Rather, the fact that she doesn't think that he can focus on non-political content while on the show. Some believe there could be other reasons she might not want him on. due to specific comments or actions, which could be true, but she has never confirmed. Even when politicians are on the Ellen DeGeneres show, they often play games and have conversations with Ellen that are not inherently political. While Ellen does care about her guests and social issues, she spends most of her time having a laugh and a good time. After all, she is a comedian. Perhaps Donald Trump could appear on Ellen's show after his political venture. However, most believe that we will never see an episode with Ellen and Trump. You won't believe what Ellen got hate for because of number 2 on the list. Number 2. George Bush. Another political figure, but for a very different reason. Despite having very different political and social views, George Bush and Ellen DeGeneres are good friends, which is a beautiful thing, as political and social views should never impede someone from any sort of relationship. The two were spotted together watching a football game, a Cowboys game of all things. This, however, led to a backlash. Not that it was a Cowboys game, rather that the two were hanging out. Photos were released of the two at the game, talking and having a laugh. People began calling Ellen out for her friendship with George Bush. Basically, people were upset because Ellen and Bush had very different views, in some ways standing and representing very different things. The backlash was rather severe. It seems that her and George Bush are still friends, but not as openly. It's disappointing to see a friendship get ruined because a fan base doesn't agree with their private and personal relationships. While both are extremely famous, both deserve some degree of freedom and privacy. One of the biggest side effects, if you will, of being famous is the inability to control the narrative of your life. Media and social media have a level of control over celebrities. The incident happened last year. Ellen vehemently defended her friendship with Bush. Everyone loves Ellen DeGeneres being nice and welcoming to all, but not if they are a politician of an opposing party. With so much initial pressure, we will not be seeing George Bush on The Ellen Show. Even if Ellen was willing to have him on and face the backlash, the network, NBC, would most likely decline to have him on as a guest. You'll never believe what Ellen did. Number 1. Audience member that stole. Okay, fine. This may not be a celebrity, but it's too great not to include in the list. Coming in at number 1, when 2 audience members broke the rules, stealing from Ellen herself. We all know Ellen is both generous and loving, so when she decided to allow her audience members to take one free item from a merchandise table, it seemed like another normal, wholesome bit. Not so fast. Like a Quentin Tarantino movie, a thriller with a plot twist, the bit took a shift. Ellen's team had set up cameras monitoring the merchandise table. 2 not-so-smart audience members went back and forth, taking way more than just one item. Ellen was informed of the egregious act. Instead of calling the police or straight up booting them from the set, she did something even more savage. In front of the entire audience and later viewers, she called the women out. The 2 women were bewildered, obviously thinking they had gotten away with the theft. The 2 watched the video, clearly showing them taking more than one thing, blushing in pure embarrassment. Rather than just taking the blows and preventing further embarrassment, one of the women tried claiming her sister couldn't come and it was a souvenir. Ellen jokingly replied that a lot of people's sisters couldn't come, referring to the fact that she had stolen numerous items, not just one. Ellen continued the savagery. You might expect Ellen to be a sweetheart and save the 2 from such embarrassment, but Ellen wasn't having it that day. She began talking to one of them, named Nancy, about what had happened. She joked around, also telling her that this should be a lesson. Ellen decided to create her very own Ellen jail, kicking the audience member out of her seat. Nancy had to sit in a tall, uncomfortable chair off to the side, visible to the entire audience. Funny enough, the other audience member got away unscathed, as she was allowed to remain in the seat with the rest of the audience. Despite how uncomfortable and embarrassing the ordeal had to be, Nancy took it like a champ. Still, the clips of her would later be aired to millions upon millions. With a show as big as Ellen's, her friends and family surely found out about her mishap. I can't imagine how much she regrets taking the extra mug, hat, and keychain. It was hysterical watching Ellen play tough. She continued to smile and joke throughout the scene, but obviously was somewhat annoyed with the audience member. Despite being offered a free item, the pair decided to take advantage of Ellen's generosity. Let it be a lesson, or so Ellen says. You don't want to wind up in the Ellen jail. So, there were a couple of times Ellen decided to kick people from the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let everyone know in the comments if Nancy was given the proper punishment. If you enjoyed, slap a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be informed on our next upload. Thanks.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.